Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining today. This is webinar number 22 in a series of webinars for small business navigating the impacts of COVID-19. I'm Barbara Coffey, Director of Economic Initiatives for the City of Tucson. Today, we will hear from the Downtown Tucson Partnership and how they continue to help downtown businesses through this pandemic. We will also hear perspectives from downtown business owners and also from a representative of our Planning and Development Services Department. As always, we will take your questions and as we go, so feel free to enter your questions in the chat box or the Q&A section, and we'll get to as many of those as possible in our time together. We will keep all participants muted since we have a large number of attendees, but we do record the session and make it available, so by tomorrow afternoon, you'll be able to find it on connecttucson.com. Typically, it is there afternoon the next day. So let's get started. Kathleen Erickson is the President and Chief Executive Officer for the Downtown Tucson Partnership. Kathleen has over 20 years experience leading downtown organizations in Arizona, Michigan, and California. Kathleen's work in downtown development has garnered international attention and numerous awards, including the Pinnacle Award from the International Downtown Association, the Merit Award by the American Institute of Architects, the Building Award by the Michigan Historic Preservation Society, and a feature segment on HGTV's Restore America series. In addition to her position with the Downtown Tucson Partnership, Kathleen is owner and founder of Erickson Development Company, a downtown development and consulting firm. Prior to Kathleen's career in downtown development, she co-owned and operated Otello's Ristorante, an Italian restaurant, of course, René de Paris, a French bakery and cafe. See, I get to have fun with these names. Theater, coffee, and grand catering as well. She and her brother successfully operated these businesses for 8 years in the heart of downtown Jackson, Michigan. Kathleen, thanks for being with us this afternoon. I am thrilled to have you join us today and share a little bit, I know, about the ups and downs of this pandemic path that we have all been on. So with that, I'll turn it over to you. Kathleen?
Thank you, Barbara. Is there any time left for my presentation after that introduction? Thank you very much, Barbara.
To share though, the reason I stop you that because I love sharing the intros with everyone because it's so often we all meet each other right in the same room and we really don't know where everybody comes from and what they've all been doing. And so anyway, so thanks for allowing me that time.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Barbara. So I appreciate this opportunity to share what's going on with downtown. I'm just so passionate about downtown through its successes, and then also just as passionate about rebuilding after the trials that we've been faced with through COVID. So I'd like to just start with some basic information real quickly to tell you a little bit about the Downtown Tucson Partnership, our mission, and how we're funded so that we can set a stage for the area that we're talking about. The Downtown Tucson Partnership is a nonprofit organization, and it was funded in 1998 to provide enhanced services for the Downtown Business Improvement District, or the BID. The BID is defined by a geographic boundary, and all of the properties that are located within this geographic region, outlined in red here, they all pay a business improvement district assessment. And that assessment is based on the property frontage and the height. We use those dollars and that money derived from the business improvement district assessment to reinvest back into the BID. And we reinvest it through our core services like economic development, clean and safe initiatives is what we're most known for, I think, and also our marketing, special programs, initiatives, and of course, relationship building. We have some quick stats within this area. We have it's a 54 block area. It's comprised of approximately 394 properties. We have 75 food and beverage establishments located within the BID, also 72 shops and entertainment venues. We have 369 hotel rooms, which are currently under construction, and all of them are continuing to move forward. And also downtown is home to roughly 831 multifamily residential units. So we have a real vibrant core area. We're encouraging a safe reopening of downtown on October 1st, and we're really thrilled to be partnering with Pima County and the Ready For You program. We're encouraged by, we are encouraging, all downtown businesses to get certified through the Ready For You program by signing up and following the regulations that have been established by the CDC and the county health department. And then a health inspector will come by and check your establishment to make sure that you have met all the guidelines. If you meet the guidelines, you'll receive a Ready For You emblem on your door, and customers will know that it's safe to come in here and that you have been following the most stringent guidelines established. This also helps to protect your employees as well, and gives us a basis for reopening safely under such unknown conditions that we're in right now. If you're a business owner and you have not already, please register to be enrolled through the Ready For You program by October 1st. Just go to PIMAready.com to apply. PIMAready.com also lists a list of businesses who are following the reopening guidelines and regulations. And the program, again, is helping to ensure a real safe opening for the county, rebuilding consumer confidence, and also protecting your staff and your customers. We're lucky enough to have Russell Stone on our staff, and he is has been deemed our Chief Sanitation Officer. He is also available to meet with any downtown business and to help you to implement these guidelines that have been established. The reopening campaign includes a massive marketing effort. So we have 200 street banners, which they're double banners, so approximately 100 poles. We have oversized posters and sidewalk clings. We have planter signs, decals. We're doing direct mail, social media, radio advertising. All of this has a lighthearted message and graphics that include the Ready For You tagline, in addition to health and safety messaging. We are co-branding with Ready For You promotion with our downtown. We're encouraging all businesses to clean their windows, refresh their storefronts, and paint where needed, to put out planters and seating. We want businesses to think of this as their grand reopening. The businesses, when they first opened up, they put a lot of effort into the types of tables and the layout and the menu, and everyone was so excited. We want that excitement and that effort for this grand reopening of downtown on October 1st. DTP staff will be out next week to distribute posters. And if we stop by your business, if you would allow us to put one of these posters in your window, we have an option of English or Spanish. And through a partnership agreement with Pima County, we were able to obtain additional solar-powered trash compactors. We have public health and safety information on the compactors. Soon we will be rolling out water bottle filling stations, which are, again, touchless. We have hand sanitation stations, which will be touchless as well. All of this is through a partnership with Pima County and the Ready For You program. And we were selected as the first business district to partner with the county. And this is a pilot program that is intended to be emulated in other areas of the county. And I'm really thrilled to announce that 4th Avenue is the next partnership that the county will be announcing. And they were recently approved for a similar program, but for more money, huh? I'm happy for them. And we're working closely with them. So the banners that you see downtown, instead of where it says downtown, will have 4th Avenue. Or they will have 4th Avenue if they select to go with banners. But all of the things that we're doing are meant to be co-branded with Pima Ready and then replicated in another district. We have a new website that's coming out on October 1st as well. And this, of course, is in time for the grand reopening. Get your business featured. If you're located downtown, you'll have your own dedicated web page, much like the one that is shown on the screen right now. This is offered to free to businesses that are located within the Business Improvement District. In conjunction with the new website, we're also launching the new Downtown Tucson gift card. This is a universal gift card, different from the electronic card that we had before. This is very user-friendly, and it's actually a physical card. It will be able to be redeemed at participating merchants. Right now, we have over 50 merchants that are participating, as you can see on the screen. 100% of the proceeds go back to the business, and DTP is incurring 100% of the annual program costs. So if you haven't signed up for the gift card, please do so if you are located within the Business Improvement District again. In addition to this, we have secured funding for the Desert Nights Downtown Lights promotion, and we're so excited, yay! We have, I believe it's 162 street trees that will be tight wrapped with white holiday lights. And this will all be up, barring any unforeseen electrical issues, on October 1 as well. All of this together collectively will help to create this vibrant, clean, safe, welcoming environment that people feel comfortable being in. And that is our goal. DTP is in partnership with Pima County. Part of that partnership agreement was also to re-grant dollars to downtown businesses. We created 2 different grant programs. The first is the Outdoor Cafe Grant, and that is up to $5,000 toward the expansion or creation of an outdoor cafe. It can include anything from the platform, railing, tables, chairs, planters, etc. We have received 26 grant applications to date and have awarded $99,000 out of $105,000 possible. So if you have not applied and you're interested, now's the time to apply. The program actually ends on October 15th. We also have, or whenever the funds run out, we also have the Downtown Rebound Grant. This is $2,000 to cover any COVID-related expenses, including, of course, personal protective equipment, any kind of physical modification that you need to make at your business, and then even marketing costs. So we've received 27 of these grants so far, and we have $50,000 available, roughly about $15,000 left. So again, act fast. Both programs expire on October 15th or until the program funds run out. And just in summary, these are the things that we're asking downtown businesses to do for the reopening. 1, be open on October 1st. 2, register and be enrolled for the Ready For You program by October 1st to refreshen their storefronts with paint, planters, seating, if permitted, and that this is their grand opening. This is your grand opening, it's downtown's grand opening. To put up the poster when Zach and I come by in the window, and then upload your business information and photos to our new downtown webpage. Also update your own websites, social media platforms, Google with your new business hours, and definitely, spread the word to your neighbors. If there's other businesses, they may not be a part of this webinar right now. They might not know about it or have heard about it. So please spread the word that October 1 is the opening day. We are here to help you at DTP, so please just reach out to us. If you're in a different area of the city, we're definitely always wanting to help other areas as well, and we're open to provide that assistance. So that concludes the presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions, and just really want to thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks, Kathleen. And a lot of the things that you spoke about, and especially just, I want to applaud your efforts first from really early on and jumping in and the gift card program that you all launched and the thousands of dollars that you raised and put in the hands of businesses, but then also the innovative partnerships and again, I appreciate Pima County stepping in, and you've made, you shared that they're going to expand the programs that they started with you all, and I think that's fantastic. And I would mention that Pima Ready For You is something that all the businesses can take advantage of, and have that checklist and that certification, put the badge of honor on your door. So that's definitely something that others can take advantage of. But quick question for you, Kathleen, with all of this that's happened, I mean, I know at the very beginning we were all worried about businesses closing, about how they would survive, and if some would make it, if some haven't. What have you seen, and have we lost any business? Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we had been notified that there was 2 businesses that were closing, and they've actually reached out to me recently to let me know that they're trying to reopen. So these businesses are located on Congress Street. So we have not officially heard of any business closing other than the Carriage House downtown.
Okay. So another thing, what are you seeing as trends going forward for the downtown in particular, with the changes that we've all experienced and more people working from home? What do you think the trends are going to be, and how's that going to affect downtown Tucson?
Yeah, there are more people working remotely, I mean, myself included, and this is going to be really affect the downtown businesses, especially the restaurants and the bar scene for right after 5 p.m. crowd. So we're going to need to think creatively about how to attract people in a safe way, especially throughout the course of the next year, because it's probably going to be another year until things will get even close to anything like normal. So, we're always trying to look for innovative ways of things that we can do to bring more people into the restaurants in a safe and healthy way. That's the thing, Barbara, is that, everything that we do with the Downtown Tucson Partnership and with the Office of Economic Initiatives that you're in, it's all about creating density, right? Attracting people. And so it's just really, it's a balance right now, because we have to promote health and safety and be responsible, while at the same time try and drive business to the businesses. So how do you do that? Maybe online platforms, deliveries, outdoor cafes, shared outdoor spaces, all those things I see as potential ways to do that in the future.
Yeah, well, you've led the way, and I appreciate that. And even many of the businesses, and we're going to hear from a couple too, and how they've been creative and innovative, but just the outdoor cafe ideas, and, with the ability to extend the premises and do all those things. I think that that may be a way forward. Like some of what is being developed for the outdoor seating may stay with us. Is that what you're seeing on the part of some of the businesses and the changes that they're making?
Right. I really do hope that many of these outdoor cafes continue on past the pandemic, and really contribute to this walkable, vibrant community that's more pedestrian focused than car focused. And these outdoor cafes, people want to be around people. Even during a pandemic, people are drawn to other people. So having the ability to provide additional outdoor seating, to really take a step back and look at what do we want downtown to look like? What do we want in these vacancies? And start fresh. There's an opportunity to do that here.
Awesome. Well, you're getting many thanks and kudos from listening today about the downtown lights. Excited about everything coming forward. Zach has put some information and resources in the chat box, so you can see there the incentive programs that have been written about, and the future programs coming up. So definitely take a look there. And we'll keep moving. So you can continue to send questions. We'll take more questions towards the end, but let's keep rolling. Next up, Chris Squires, co-founder and managing partner of 1055 Brewing. Chris turned his hobby and love for beer into a business in 2013, founding 1055 Brewing Company. After 5 years of brewing award-winning beers, 1055 invested more than $1 million in a new downtown production facility and restaurant in a beautiful historic building on Congress Street. Chris has given seminars on entrepreneurship and small business financing at 10 West Festival and Arizona BrewCon. He's in his second term as treasurer on the board of directors for Arizona's Craft Brewers Guild, where he helps promote and protect Arizona's growing craft beer industry. Chris also serves on the board of directors for Visit Tucson, the Downtown Tucson Partnership, and the Tucson Waldorf School. Chris is a graduate of Marana High School and a veteran of the U.S. Marine Corps. When he's able to sneak out of the brewery, Chris enjoys taking his wife and daughter to the Reed Park Zoo or the Arizona Sonora Desert Museum. So Chris, thanks for sneaking away this afternoon to be with us too. That's awesome. It's been a strange and interesting year, and I'm sure you have harsher words for it. But again, thanks for joining, and I'd really love to hear your perspective on how things have been for you over the last 6 months, where you were, where you are now, things that have worked, things that haven't worked. You can take it from there. Chris?
No, my pleasure, Barbara, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to chat about the last few months. It's funny what you said a few minutes ago about those long intros. I've been working with Kathleen for over a year and did not know until this very moment that she had all this restaurant experience. Next time I see you, Kathleen, we can share a beer and war stories about the hospitality business. That'll be a good time.
Great, great.
Yeah. So all that is true. I operate 1055 Brewing Company here in Tucson. We started off on the south side of town in a little industrial space, not a very uncommon story these days. This is how lots of breweries have opened up in the last decade. We started off just me and my partner in about 600 square feet with tanks not too much bigger than your average stock tank. And that was 5 years ago. And then 2 years ago now, roughly, we came down here and opened up on this side. Our goal was always we love the beer business, but we're also foodies, my partner and I. And so our plan from day one was to figure out a way to make both food and beer in a place that made people happy. And so that's what 1055 is here today. And so our business is very much two-pronged. You know, we have a foot on either side of these two universes. I live in the beer business. We brew beer and package for sale to bars and restaurants. That's something we're just now getting back into, and I'll talk about that more in a second. But we also live in the restaurant universe, right? The biggest piece of our business at this moment, not at this moment, 7 or 8 months ago, was on the restaurant side. And so we live in that universe with dealing with food cost and, you know, is our menu engineered properly and these things. So in many ways, we are operating two adjacent parallel businesses. And these sectors, both these businesses have been affected dramatically and in dramatically different ways. On the restaurant side of the house, I think independent restaurants as an industry are obviously having a very tough time right now. When I say independent restaurants, I'm differentiating from our larger brethren in the chain universe. You know, you're all the way from your McDonald's, but all the way to your Outback Steakhouse. You know, all these different operations. And so, as an independent restaurant, we don't, or as independent restaurants, we don't all have those same kind of financial resources. We don't have the scale to maybe negotiate the same kind of lease concessions and raw materials things of that nature. And so we are seeing in the downtown core, Kathleen made the great point that so far we've not seen too many what we think are going to be permanent closures. That is not true outside of the downtown core, right? Independent restaurants are having a hard time. And I'm starting to see reports now too of larger chain operators buying out leases, going around finding the locations that they like and buying out those operators, right? Because what better time to do to engage in real estate negotiation except for right now. And so we have some challenge ahead of us as independent restaurateurs. Now on the beer side, our universe is a little bit different, right? When we moved downtown, we're still not a big brewery. You know, we're still a couple of guys who are cranking out our favorite thing, and that's beer. And so what that means is that when we moved downtown, we didn't have the capacity to really, before we moved downtown, a big part of our business was selling to bars and restaurants, right? That was I had a little Honda CRV that delivered several thousand kegs over the last 5 years. That was a big part of our business. We had a small tap room on the south side at 44th Street with 10 or 12 chairs, but most of what we did was wholesale, was distribution. And that calculus inverted when we moved downtown. We now have 140 seats here at 110 East Congress Street, and each of those seats represents a beer drinker. And obviously, when you sell beer across the bar to a patron for $5 or $6, the profit margin in that is much better than when I sell a keg for $70 or $80. And so we had to choose when we came down to downtown. It made a lot of sense for us to shrink our distribution footprint just a little bit, nearly to nothing. We have a few core accounts, Prep and Pastry, a few other places like that who we have strong local independent relationships with. But outside of that, that was pretty much the end of our distribution for a little bit. And as I said, that calculus inverted. So now, rewind a little bit to February, March, and how we pivoted and how we've tried to innovate is moving back to that universe, right? We are now selling beer in packages again. This is, again, a difficult calculus because many of our friends, our bars and restaurants at this moment are not currently open or are operating under diminished capacity. This is especially true. We had a strong footprint in the downtown sector. And just like everyone else downtown, even though most restaurants downtown are legislatively allowed to open, it does not make sense to do so. As I was talking about independent restaurants a little bit ago, we all live, industry standard, if we're talking about profit margins for an independent restaurant, maybe somewhere between 4 and 9%. And so that means if we make $1 million, I'm able to pay myself roughly $40,000 a year, right? Or my investors, I have many investors in our operation. And so, if you shave off 4 to 9% of our sales and we do not somehow also shrink our cost structure, we now are in a losing money proposition. And so, speaking for myself, we have remained open for to-go sales and things of that nature under very limited hours. Our dining room is not yet open. My sales are down roughly 93% over this same period last year. Very thankfully, we have the beer side to lean on. We have great people like Kathleen and the city and the county Rio Nuevo came through with a wonderful bridge grant that helped us survive that piece until PPP funding came in. When we look at how do we pivot moving forward on the beer side, it's a little bit more, that path for me is a bit more clear. We are able to really crank in. We're actually entering into a relationship with a larger brewer at this moment who is going to start producing some of our brands for us that I can start bringing to market at a wider scale. In some ways, this is, this crisis, that's maybe something I should have done a year or two ago, right? But this crisis has made that all the more important and has really forced us to focus in on our core metrics. What are we good at? What can we offer that our peers cannot, right? And now how do we deliver that to the consumer in a universe where all of our systems are different and changed? And so on the restaurant side so that's how we're doing on the beer side. You're about to see very soon, we've entered into a distribution contract with Finley Distributing. That's not 100% public knowledge yet. Good thing I just said that on a call with hundreds of people. But that'll become live in just a week or two, and we'll start selling our beer through them, which is going to dramatically increase our scope. And also packaging beer. We're also going to start canning our flagship beer, our Casa 55. And you'll see me out on the streets pitching that one to Safeway and Albertsons and all these big operators, hopefully here in the next coming weeks.
Now that's great. Chris, let me ask, was that something you
Sure.
planned? Was that always in the works, or is it just a plan that you advanced because of COVID? How did that come about? The distribution.
I think it was always in the works. If you had asked me in January when I was going to execute that and start exploring that side of our business, I probably would have said 24 months out. It was certainly not too far out, but it wasn't our long term. We really needed to. We're still pretty. It turns out I love the restaurant business. That's a new thing, but we're pretty new to it. So I really wanted all of our systems to be in place here before I expanded to that side of it. But that is, ironically though, that is the core of our business. That's what we did for the first 5 years. Is distribution. We self-distributed the first 5 years. As I mentioned, my little Honda, we did not have a distribution company. In Arizona, liquor law allows microbrewers to do that up to a certain level. After that, you have to get a distributor who will move your product for you. So it certainly was in the works. COVID unquestionably accelerated that for us, and it's been an adventure. That's something that we are, as I said, it's almost a return to that side. I'm now meeting with Finley, and we're talking again about how we're gonna do promo events out at bars and restaurants and things like this. And I'm looking around at my team, and this is a familiar place for us. This feels good, especially after 7 months of very unfamiliar territory. And so we're starting to approach something that feels like a plan. It's a useful thing. But on the restaurant side, in terms of how we're pivoting there, we've been very fortunate. The city has created this. I'll have to get Ruslan to tell us what the acronym stands for. The TOP, the temporary. I lost a letter or two in there. But what we've done is, so there's this big concern, this big, valid, legitimate concern about indoor spaces, right? How difficult it is you know, I have the ability certainly in our space to pull away tables and make people 6 feet away from one another. But what happens if they need to go to the restroom? Well, it's a hallway, right? And that hallway is about 36 inches wide and there's no two ways around it. You're going to be within 6 feet of someone. And so, and the same is true, not just in the restroom, but this is just the nature of being indoors with people. And so the city has realized this and has championed this fantastic program, this essentially what is a temporary outdoor patio program. And I won't dive into too many of the details of the program. Ruslan is clearly the right person to do that, and I would probably get them wrong anyway. But what it has meant for us is that we have been able to build, we're still waiting on the state to approve my liquor permit. Hopefully that's going to happen just in the next 10 days or so. But we were able to take up a couple of parking spaces out front and build this covered patio structure. And so what this will do is, up until then, I had exactly 2 tables on a very small patio out front. This will allow me to add probably 6 or 7 more, which is going to, I mean, very literally quadruple my on-premise sales at this point. And so that is at a time where, as I mentioned, sales are down over 90%. That is a lifeline for us. This will absolutely be meaningful as we move forward. And so I'm that program is still very new for everyone. I think there's so many departments, you know, when you put a patio and a couple parking spaces, there's about 10 different departments probably that all within the city of Tucson that all have an interest in making sure that that's done safely and correctly. And so it's a bit of a process. I'm very grateful for people like Ruslan. Whenever I seem to get something stuck in the city, Ruslan is able to unstick it. And so I am very grateful for people like Ruslan in the city who are helping small businesses in this way. But yeah, that's my story.
That's awesome. And so is October 1 going to be helpful for you with what Kathleen described as reopening? Will you be able to
Absolutely.
more on October? Yeah. Okay. Great. Well,
yeah, I think so. You know, as I mentioned, the decision, I think I started to talk about this, but maybe got distracted. The decision for us to remain closed at this moment, or mostly closed, is an economic one. You know, there's simply all of our office crowd that makes up, you know, my lunch business and my happy hour business eventually. They're all working remotely. And in many cases, as we're starting to hear news back, those employers enjoy that so much that might be, you know, what the future looks like. And so downtown, I think it's easy for me to get stuck in a downtown bubble and realize that, you know, what we see here downtown is maybe not a perfect representation of what the rest of the city is experiencing. There are operators, you know, up La Encantada, restaurant operators, La Encantada, and on the north side, who I've had conversations with, whose sales are maybe only down 10 or 12%, or maybe they're even up 1 or 2 points because, in their words, everything downtown is shut down. These people need somewhere to go. And so it's easy for me to forget that what we're experiencing downtown is maybe not a universal experience. And so it is, I think, if you, as a consumer, if you like what downtown has become in the last 3 or 4 years, if you like the work Kathleen has done and Chef D has done and all these wonderful operators, get your butts downtown as soon as you can. Do so safely, wear a mask, please respect these wonderful service industry folks who don't like the mask mandate any more than you do, but are required to enforce it by all of these agencies. So please be thoughtful about those things. But also, if you like what downtown looks like and don't want it to change, as soon as you're able, and if you feel safe, please come down and see us. We will need your help. Kathleen is not wrong when she says there's likely 6 to 12 months more of this.
Yeah, that's a great message. I appreciate that, Chris. And I do think the mix of uses is hopefully what, as the city, you know, on the city side, we look at the residential coming in, the hospitality that's continuing to build and will add in the next 2 to 3 years. All of that will be important in continuing to diversify and create more customers. So
many positives. Absolutely true.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
Fantastic. Stay around. There'll be more questions. I'm going to keep us rolling. And we'll go to Dee Beiser, chef and owner of Sinatai Bistro in downtown Tucson since 2016. Dee has over 30 years experience as a successful entrepreneur and restaurateur. Since opening her first restaurant in 1987, Sweet Basil in Berkeley, California. She and her siblings have owned and operated 9 restaurant locations in California, including Soy 4 and Bird and Buffalo in Oakland, and Basil Thai and Basil Canteen in San Francisco, in addition to Sweet Basil in Bethesda, Maryland, and Soy 4 in Scottsdale. Dee is also a member of the board of directors for the Downtown Tucson Partnership. I'm so excited to have her join us today. So absolutely welcome, Dee. And I'd really love to hear how you got to Tucson after those tours in California and Maryland. So you'll have to share a little bit about that as well. Dee?
Sawadee ka. Well, how do I get to where I get? It's all my husband's fault. He swept me off of my feet and took me from California to the other coast, DC area, where I ended up opening a Sweet Basil in Bethesda, Maryland. And I ran that for 3 years, and then my husband was recruited to ASU, so that moved us into Arizona. And that's when I took hiatus to raise children. And then all the while, U of A was recruiting my husband to Tucson. And that's how I came to Tucson. And after a couple of years of being here and went out to dine at the other Thai restaurants in Tucson, I just felt that Thai cuisine has been way underrepresented. So it's in my blood to want to open another restaurant. Oh my goodness.
Well, yeah, you've been outstanding, right? So I rave reviews, and including my own. And so tell me what it's been like for you. What has happened over the last few months? What have you gone through, and what do you hope to see going forward?
Yeah, so from a full service fine dining restaurant, we are now fast casual. So after the first shutdown, we had to quickly adapt to a takeout mode only. And soon after that, I realized, okay, we need to reinvent ourselves. There's no more full service right now. And because the restaurant is so small, my dining room is so small because most of the space is kitchen. With the 6 feet social distancing, I decided the best way is to reorganize and redesign the dining room so that it could be a counter service, fast casual. And that way I can have a couple of servers only, my staff has been drastically reduced, of course, but with the fast casual concept, I can have 2 servers to cover all the activities, plus me hopping around wherever it's needed. And we wouldn't run into each other, and still able to keep the distancing for health and safety and the customer's health and safety issues. So that's been an interesting change to be a fast casual and do a lot of to-goes. Well, not a lot. We were actually operating 20-25% of what we could have. And actually January and February of this year, we broke our records of the past year. So I thought we were poised to finally make money. And then COVID hit. And I'm like, okay, let's start all over. So by reinventing ourselves to be a fast casual, I think we will be okay. And the takeout part, as I said, was not doing so well. So I decided to open up the dining room as of September 1. And we hope and pray that when customers come in, that they do wear masks, that we're not becoming the policemen of masks wearing, and it's for everybody's health. I am scared. I am scared to contact the virus, right? When people come in from all over, they're not just Tucson, they're visitors too. there are people who flies in and staying at the hotels, and we don't know where they're from. They may be asymptomatic. So it's a chance we take, and I hope that the public would take that into consideration when they enter each of the restaurants or the pub. Or, and the other thing that I changed was all of my draft beers are now from Tucson brewers. 1055 is one of them. Yeah. So I decided to support the local breweries. That's a little part that I can do to help with the local. And also we partnered up with Cobra Arcade to open up our kitchen to them so that they can open and bring back their employees. So we offer appetizers service to their customers. So, and if any of our customers want to eat after hours, like after 8:30, we close at 8:30 now, they can go to Cobra and order our appetizers. So hopefully that would work in the long term too. I'm just trying to figure out different ways to generate revenues and help one another.
Yes, they're fantastic ideas. And again, look at the partnerships that you've been able to create. So that's fantastic. So going forward, are you comfortable? Are you going to be able to, are you going to keep on the fast casual mode or bring back the sit down service at some point? And what about outdoor space? What's next for you?
Yes. So right now I have 2 tables outdoor that the city has approved for us so far. And I would like to continue working with the city for a more permanent on the parklet, to have more seating, because right now with the 6 feet social distancing, we have 7 tables and we used to have 25. So that would be a tremendous help. And especially coming this winter, it'll be a great revenue generator for us. So it'll be beautiful to sit outside. So I'm so blessed and appreciative. I'm a blessed recipient of the grants with the Piedmont County and Downtown Tucson Partnership and the city of Tucson. I could not have done all the renovation without their support, really.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I am like, wow, I got lucky for deciding to be in downtown.
Well, it is a fortunate thing when you have an association like Downtown Tucson Partnership to help corral the merchant activity and really bring those opportunities to you. And it looks like Zach put something in the chat room that everyone should see, your feature on the Thai Food in America virtual program series. So that's fantastic. So congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
And then,
And that was through the sponsorship of the Thai Trade Ministry of Commerce, the Thai Select USA, being that I'm one of the I was awarded the Thai Select Award back in 2017. And the Thai Select USA has helped promote Thai restaurants in the US. And one of their programs during the COVID was Thai Food for Heroes.
yes.
So they asked those restaurants who want to participate that they will pay for an amount of money. And so I said, okay, that's fine. Whatever you want to pay, fine, I'll match that. And so that's how the relationship started. And so we were able to send food out to St. Mary's Hospital and TMC. About 4 different rounds now.
That's great. That's great. Well, I appreciate having you here and taking a little bit of the time. I know all of you as business owners need every minute in the day. So I feel honored that you all share some of your time with us. So let's go and keep rolling to hear a little bit now about some of the mechanics behind everything. So I'll introduce Ruslan Wells joins us today from the City of Tucson Planning and Development Services Department. Ruslan has worked in planning and zoning for more than 23 years. She currently serves as the zoning administrator for the City of Tucson. In that capacity, she's responsible for the interpretation and application of zoning regulations contained in the city's Unified Development Code. Additionally, she is the administrator for all current planning functions within the Planning and Development Services Department, including zoning administration, signs, and zoning and engineering site review. Prior to working for the City of Tucson, Ruslan was a project manager for a planning firm where she served as a land use consultant on rezoning projects, master plans for parks and new communities. She also served as a regional zoning consultant for a national cellular telephone company. Ruslan is a University of Arizona Wildcat whose studies focused on geography and regional development, and she is a certified public manager. So, not to be confused with certifiable, although anyone in public government knows what I'm talking about. Ruslan, thanks for joining today. And I'm so thrilled to have you share a little bit about what's happening in the planning department since COVID hit us and talk about some of those changes. Ruslan?
Well, first of all, Barbara, thank you all very much for having me today. And it's a pleasure to be here and a pleasure to see two of the successes of our program, Chris and Dee, and good to hear about you and where you all are going, and look forward to these next levels because you all are truly flexible as entrepreneurs. And I think that that is really key to success currently. I'm going to, now you'll have to forgive me, I'm not as savvy with some of this presentation stuff as other people. So I'm going to share my screen now and just walk you through a little bit of what we're doing and show you some photos of what's happening around town.
Great.
Okay. I'm hoping that, okay, I'm sorry. I'm not as adept as Kathleen at my presentation. Let me see if I'm pulling that down now. Okay. All right. Hopefully you're seeing my screen now. Is everyone seeing it?
Not yet.
Not yet. Uh-oh.
Sometimes if you hit that green button, share screen, and then click on your slides.
Okay, there we go.
It's
All right. I think I should have it now, I think. Nope. I'm so sorry. I thought I had this together.
No worries with all of the things that are on your desk right now, because I understand development activity, it has not slowed down, which is an interesting sidebar of COVID-19. When it first hit us, we didn't know what was going to happen with the economy, but I can tell you that our construction projects have kept moving and tried to keep moving. So
yes. Okay, well, you know, technical difficulties. I'm reading what I have, and so I'm just going to, I have got to make this, so I really want you to be able to see these photos, and I'm just not sure why I'm not able to get that screen. Yes.
After you push the green share screen, then you click the picture of the slide that you want, and then you have to push share again.
Okay, I did that, and I'm not sure if that's what's happening. Okay.
and if you'd like, you can always,
I might have too many screens open here, and I hope that when I do this, I'm not going to lose everything. Hold on. I'm going to move this to another screen and hope that I can get, I'm so sorry for this, folks. While I'm waiting to do that, I'm going to start giving you some background while I try to find the photos. And I think that I can get to that aspect of it in just a second here. One moment. All right. Is it showing now?
Not yet.
Goodness gracious, it's on, I've put it up on 3 different screens and not sure why it's not showing.
What I will do is I will share the photos with the entire group afterwards. I can send it as an attachment. I have everybody's emails. You can.
Yeah. Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
All right, so let me just pull this, try to get this screen up so that I can read. I can read what I'm doing. Okay, let me pull this up, and I'm going to try one more time with this screen open and try to get.
And I also applaud your department, because I know from talking with Scott Clark, who's the director over there at PDSD, that you're all working harder and doing more with less, as I like to say in local government, which is
Yes.
common, but I know it's now.
That's true. Okay, so I am going to tell you that in response to the significant economic impacts on restaurants related to COVID-19 and all the associated seating restrictions that came about from the governor's orders, from just general policies across the country, the city of Tucson's mayor and council voted about mid-March to authorize Planning and Development Services Department to temporarily waive our zoning regulations so that we could allow all of the restaurants, and ultimately it evolved to allowing bars to expand their seating without needing to meet zoning regulations that are applicable to permanent expansions. And I can take some questions on that. I don't want to get into all of the heavy details about what the difference between the temporary and the permanent is at this point. In accordance with the social distancing policy set out by the CDC, PDSD developed seating expansion guidelines and an application process to review and approve the temporary expansions of seating. PDSD also coordinated with the Department of Transportation and Mobility to ensure that the guidelines that we were establishing would work in conjunction with short-term, and Chris, here's that term, temporary revocable easement. And Department of Transportation and Mobility establishes new guidelines now that allow you to expand into the right-of-way, either on the street or the sidewalk. The guidelines can be found on PDSD's webpage, which I think I gave a link so that could be shared. Okay, and so I was really hoping to go through the slides because I think pictures are worth 1,000 words. And I'm disappointed that I'm not able to share that with you at this point, because I wanted to share with you what Chris has been doing. Also wanted to share with you what some of the other departments or other businesses are doing in the area. And gosh. So what I want to share with you primarily is we have expansions that have occurred within parking lots. And some of you might be familiar or have seen what's been happening, say, at Casa Video on Speedway. They have expanded into their parking lot, and they put up some temporary fencing, blocked off the area so that they could have additional seating right outside their door in a few of the parking spaces. And so that's been really helpful for them. They're open, they're using that presently. And so that's one of the things that's available to everyone. On the far east side of town, we have Maverick. And if any of you have driven past Maverick, then you've seen a big tent in their parking lot, and you've seen lots of tables and chairs out there. And so that has been successful for them. Downtown, Chris recently became the recipient of a project award and was able to get approved an expansion for 1055 along with Batch. And it's a parklet. It's a wonderful parklet that's divided into, I think, Chris, correct me, is it 3 or 4 segments? And yes, 4 segments. And so it's going to enable several groups to be able to, there you go. Oh, that's perfect. It's going to allow several of those groups to expand their seating from their building out into this nice area where they'll be distanced. And it's going to maintain the sidewalk area and allow people to continue to walk up and down the street. Something similar, but a little bit different, is further down Congress. Pinka has put up a new parklet kind of a thing. And what they've done is they have put all of their seating on the sidewalk. And when you approach their new seating area, you walk down into the street area and you're able to maintain social distancing with walking, and then you walk back up a ramp into the seating area. So that's another creative way. Each of these businesses have found unique ways to expand based on their unique circumstances. And so we have examples of Urban Fresh, and I call it the Pennington Street Food Court. And I think that's the name that they've given it. And that's exciting because underneath that wonderful covered walkway, they have built a beautiful enclosed area with planters, and they've been able to maintain walking along the street. That's it. Wonderful. And they've got the walking along the street. And what Planning and Development Services is looking at is ensuring that as they're walking down the street, we aren't blocking any ADA or handicap access, and that the tables are all distant 6 feet apart. And so they've done that beautifully. And so people can go in and order at Urban Fresh and come out and sit out into, this wonderful outdoor dining space. They could do the same from Cafe 54 across the street, or from Canyon Raptor next door to Urban Fresh. So that's been extremely helpful for them. So we have examples of patios that are up against the building. We have examples of patios expanding into parking lots. We have examples of Dee has some tables up against her building, and she's hoping to design something a little bit more permanent. And I believe, and Dee can correct me, I think she wants to be able to have a covering over it. And so each one is so incredibly unique. I get excited looking at the creativity of all of the owners and their designs and what they've done to make their business so unique. And so the process is relatively simple. From our standpoint, we just want to make sure you're keeping yourself, your staff, and your customers safe. So we just want you to space your tables 6 feet apart. We also want to ensure that the public still has access and that no one has to step out into the street or be impeded by a narrow walkway. So we're looking at that. And then in terms of actually being able to utilize these areas that are in the public right-of-way, the Department of Transportation and Mobility will work with you to create a temporary revocable easement area. And John Cahill and I have created kind of a hybrid now where people are wanting to invest and make more of a permanent statement, such as Chris's parklet, and that will enable them to start going through the regular planning and zoning review process to ensure they meet all the zoning requirements that we're just temporarily waiving for now. But we're letting them get started because we really want to support all of you in the business community and ensure that we're doing our best as a city to help you stay open and to make it as painless as we can within the guidelines and regulations that we have to follow. So that kind of concludes what I wanted to talk about. Thank you, Zach, for jumping in there and helping me out with those photos, since I'm kind of realized I do well on Teams, but I really need to work on my Zoom.
Oh, that's
Thank
awesome.
you all, and I'm open for questions.
The best thing about it is just actually, like Kathleen said, meeting you face to face, and for those that are listening, right, our audience, to be able to know that there's a person behind the zoning mask, right? Like sometimes it seems like, big bad government and the challenges and barriers that seem to come with that, but really we're human beings, right? And we're all trying to get to a workable solution. And so I just appreciate your sharing that, because I could really see it come across. And it is exciting to see these changes that are going to hopefully help businesses continue to grow and sort of sustain throughout all of this. So thank you, Ruslan, for everything.
You're welcome. And for those of you listening, you can go to, I'll give my PSA, www.tucsonaz.gov/PDSD. And I gave that to Zach. He can upload that so that you all have access to that. There it is. And on our webpage, you can find a link to expanding restaurants. It has the guidelines, and there's also links to the Department of Transportation and Mobility. So thank you all very much.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. And so again, a big thanks to all of our speakers today. I sure appreciate all of you and helping us, your words of wisdom inspire others and help us help others. So again, much appreciation to everyone. Don't forget, everyone, there is also still the We Are One Somos Uno Resiliency Fund, small business and nonprofit continuity grants. Links are on connecttucson.com. for those as well. We have so many other programs and resources there, so be sure to take a look. It is time to wrap up. We'll be back next Monday at 3 p.m. with a great lineup of partners sharing on the innovative workforce development and startup training programs that we have going on. So don't miss that one. Be sure to register when you see the email invite in your box, and we will keep you connected as we navigate this pandemic together. You can also call the City of Tucson Economic Initiative Small Business Hotline at 520-837-4100. And then be sure to sign up for our newsletter, email updates on connecttucson.com. With that, thanks everyone. And,
Thank you.
and really, thanks for sharing part of your afternoon with us.